I'm the baddest, taking out all rookies. So forget Oreos, eat Delver cookies. I'm bad. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you all. It's good to be seen by you all. I, of course, am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud and clear on a Monday. Good to see you, Yang, Tolomicus, Great Old Ones, Rob Turner, and Paladin Steve, and anyone else who might be lurking around out there. You never know. Maybe you've got something to say. Maybe you want to hop into the live chat and join us right here on the show. You can do that even if you're watching over on X. We love to hear from our brothers and sisters over on the big X. So I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing okay. I had a very good, very productive weekend. A little thirsty there, dropping my rhymes, dried me out a little bit. But anyway, yes. What is being given away for the holiday giveaway 2025 is what I worked on this weekend. I can see it from where I'm sitting. If you guys turn around and look behind you, you can see it too, because you're right there looking at me and it's behind where you are. But anyway, Paladin Steve, thank you very much for the super. I appreciate that. Gonzalo says hijack flavors that I'm flipping like birds. Excellent. But anyway, so guys, Tuesday is AD&D. Wednesday is, of course, the big reveal of the holiday giveaway. But you know what? The heck with waiting. Let me just show it to you guys now. Not hardly. You'll have to wait. So first of all, let me ask you a favor, though, before I go into it. Tolomicus, is that a window? You spoiled it. It's a Pella window. They're good. They're quality. Made right here in the United States. That's got an argon gas layer in it. Guys, it's going to save you like $8 a month on your power bill. The value in that is worth more than any D&D games. But anyway, all silliness aside, and different silliness put in its place. So if you haven't already, let me ask you a favor, and you might want to do this. You might want to do this because I'm going to throw in something for free. Please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications. And for the low price of $0, you can click the like button too. Isn't that generous of me? Aren't I a nice guy? That's a little value add that I like to give my fans here on the Delver's Dungeon. So anyway, that is I know, Rob, right? So that's that. But this thing that I keep talking about, let me tell you guys, particularly if you're newly subscribed, or maybe you're oldly subscribed and this is the first live stream you caught in a long time or ever. I get it. Some people are out there and you're waiting for like produced videos, right? You're waiting for like a 10-minute news bite or something like that. But I will tell you guys the thing that we've got going on. Basically, what it was last holiday season, I had four brand new items that were kind of geek culture related that I didn't have any particular need for. They were brand new. One was a D&D cookbook. Mrs. the Dungeon Delver had already gotten me a copy. Then a relative got me another copy. Another was a new in-box. I guess you'd call it new old stock. It was still wrapped up. It was still in great shape. Mobile Suit Gundam model. The other was a Jack's Arcade's Mini Pac-Man machine. And the last one was an Icons of the Realm Red Dragon Mini. That's the Dave Sutherland introductory 1977 Holmes introductory set, Red Dragon Mini. I decided to do a giveaway because I had those things. I had received the Jack's Arcades for free. I had received the cookbook for free. The Mobile Suit Gundam model had been gifted to me. I said, you know what? I want to pay it forward a little bit. So we did drawings and I gave those away. And I thought this year, what can I do? What can I do for drawings this year? And then I came up with what I'm going to do. Now, this year, it's a little different. We're going to do a wheel spin on Christmas night. On Christmas night. And 4 lucky people are going to get this year's holiday giveaway item or items, depending on how you look at it. They are all the same thing. They are all exactly the same thing, but there's 4 chances for you to win. So it's not like you're going to go, oh, well, I got Swiffer refills, and you know, he got the robotic AI version of Gary Gygax to come to his house and run D&D games. Zachary Melvin, thank you for becoming a member. That is du jour. We need to talk about that. So it's all the same thing. And it's not like last year's holiday gifts were all geek culture items. You could make the case that 2 of the 4 were gaming related. There was a gaming cookbook and there was a miniature. But here's the thing. This year, they're gaming items. They are TTRPG items that I am giving away. Not related to, they're not posters, they're not t-shirts, they're not hats, they're not miniatures. They are TTRPG items. You can sit down at a game and play them. I will not be giving these away again. This is kind of the only opportunity you've got. When you see during the unveiling on Wednesday what it is, you're going to want it. You're going to want to be part of this. So here's the thing. This contest is open to patrons and to YouTube members. Patrons, YouTube members. How do you become a patron? You can support the show on Patreon. It's right down there is my Patreon link. How do you become a YouTube member? I think the link is like over here somewhere, or it might be over on this side down there. As a patron, I'm just going to call it patron, but this covers YouTube member. As a channel support, how about that? As a channel supporter in one of those 2 ways, here's what you need to do. First of all, no, that's just for you, Gonzalo. First of all, you must become a patron no later than October 31st. That's 33 days away. No later than October 31st. Not November 1st. No later than October 31st. You have to remain as a patron, a member, a channel supporter throughout October, well, throughout November and December. You can't sign up and then drop off. I'll see when you signed up, and I'll see when you've decided to leave. It is for paid members. Now, you can become a free supporter on Patreon, and that's fine. That's fine. But this is for paid members. Now, the paid level of membership Does not matter. You can support for as little as $1 on Patreon or $1.99 here on YouTube. Whichever you want to do. Whatever you're comfortable with. It's going to be the holidays. I know money gets tight around the holidays. So, you know, I would recommend, if you want in on the contest, support on Patreon. It's only $2. It'll hit your payment system of choice twice for $1 each. Ding, ding. And set it to auto renew. Now, I'll remind everybody who wants to jump ship after we do the drawing, I promise you, cross my heart. January 1, I'll tell you guys, hey, if you only joined up for this, turn off your auto renew. But if that doesn't matter to you, you can support over on YouTube for $1.99 a month. That's as low as I can set that. I can adjust the payment levels, but the lowest level I can set is $1.99 on YouTube. They need their pound of flesh. So, paid patrons and YouTube memberships join no later than October 31st, 2025. Stay through to the end of December. And you're in the drawing. So we will do 4-wheel spins Christmas night. You guys will know beforehand what we're going to be spinning for. I thought about waiting till then. I'm terrible at keeping gift secrets. I've told a couple of people already that I swore, like, I'm not telling anybody. This is top secret. This is missile launch codes. This is formula to Coca-Cola. I'm not telling anybody. And I told people. I told a couple of people. So I'm terrible. There's no way I could have lasted until Christmas night. And besides, I don't think you guys would have wanted to have waited. Yes, but it's a copy of Top Secret taped off of HBO back in 1987. Bob Gnarly, good to see you. So that's what's going on. Wednesday, I will reveal the holiday gift drawing prize. It'll be 4 of the same thing. I'll show you guys one of them. Emma saying, good to see you. And for my patrons, for my YouTube members, your name will be added to the list. It'll go on the wheel and we'll spin it. It's a computer wheel, so I'm not going to have a big spinning wheel. Thank you, Bob Gnarly, jumping straight to tonight's sponsor. Tonight's sponsor is me. We have merch. It's linked down below. Get yourself an excellent piece of Delver's Dungeon merch with art by Tracy Lesh. It is that piece of art on our merch. You know what? Let me do something here. I'm gonna do something. For those of you who, I don't know, maybe you're on mobile, maybe you don't want to open another tab or something like that. Let me go over here and content. Takes me so long to get here. All right, I'm going to show you guys this design because this is really cool. You can get this on all kinds of merch, but I really should just have this image to hand and share it with you guys at the appropriate time. This is our merch design, guys. Look at this. Look at it. It's glorious. That is by the Tracy Lesh, guys. And this is an homage to his original dungeon board game art. Tracy did all of the art for the dungeon board game. That's his. I came to him. I said, look, I want a logo, something cool, something dungeony, something like characters getting wiped out, maybe, that says, Gary made me do it. And so Tracy decided to reach back to his days at TSR and created this excellent thing. And we have got, so what is it available on? We have a canvas print, stickers, t-shirts, tank tops, pint glasses, and a hoodie. Those are our items. Woohoo! Thank you, Bob Gnarly. Bob knows what time it is. He's going to be rocking that thing. You're going to be going down to the mall, heading out to Whataburger. I don't know, whatever you do. People are going to, Dungeon Delver, I got to get in on that. I don't know. I just think it's a cool design and that you guys will like it. So please, please, please consider picking up some merch. Gary Con uniform. There you go. So that's our merch. And also, it is brought to you by Bob. Thank you for the spoiler. It is brought to you by Crom, the Character Record Organization Manager software, which just got a patch recently. I had introduced a little hiccup in Crom, and I fixed up the error. That didn't sound nearly as good as I thought it would. So there is a brand new version of Crom that is rolled out. Well, I mean, it's new in that a bug has been fixed. Guys, how many times have you had a player whose character bites the dust at the table and there's no raise dead that's going to happen? There's no, they're like, you know what? No, it's fine. It's fine. I want to do something new. Okay. Even the most experienced of us as players and dungeon masters know that a well-rounded first edition AD&D character can take a few minutes to roll up. I'm here to tell you the good news, guys. If you haven't already heard, Crom, the Character Record Organization Manager, is your Guardo Camino. It is your road guard. And what Crom is and what Crom does, guys, let me tell you. First of all, it offers 4 by-the-book character stat generation methods and a 5th method for entering stats all your own. You want to roll your dice right on the table? Maybe you have a set of stats you've already thought up. Maybe your dungeon master does a point buy system. Crom has 5 methods, and one of them is to manually input. Bob Gnarly says it took him about a minute to make his character. It's that fast. When I demonstrate this to you guys, and I've done it before, but when I've demonstrated this for you guys, it takes me 5 minutes because I'm stopping and talking and showing you what I'm doing. If I'm in a hurry, knock out a character like that. Generate your stats. Pick your race, pick your gender, get your class, purchase your equipment, get your weapons proficiencies. Save your character in text or in HTML, and you are done. But the fun doesn't stop there, because now you've got a character that's created and it's got an alterable character sheet. You can load your character back in, you can age them, you can add experience points, you can do milestone leveling, you can level drain them, you can change their stats, change their alignment. If you have a human who meets the requirements, you can dual class them into any other class, or alternately, if they meet the requirements, you can dual class them with a look to becoming a bard. And when you become a bard, it'll give you the option to become a bard. It doesn't just, dual class to thief. Well, I guess go do the paperwork for a bard. No, it does it for you if you make that choice. And that also includes half elves, because that is by the book. Do you have gems and jewelry? You can sell them. You can purchase more equipment. I couldn't afford the plate mail at first level, but I've leveled my character up in Crom, and I have money, which I can add to my inventory. Now I'll buy the plate mail. It does all of that. It keeps track of your character. It takes all the tedium out of managing a first edition AD&D character. It caps levels properly. And you know what? Maybe you're also wondering, Bill, yeah, I'm jumping into this game with a 5th level magic user or 7th level illusionist. I guess I gotta talk to the DM about spell books. No. Crom will generate a spell book for magic users and illusionists. No problem. And it does auto-generate your starting spells per AD&D. And if you get that lucky roll, it will give you a choice of starting spells depending on the column you hit. Hey, is your dungeon master one of those DMs who uses psionics in their games? Don't laugh. Some do. Crom will ask you if you want to check for psionics on character generation. And if you meet the requirements, mind powers, baby. Take your psionic bard into an AD&D game. Now, I can't force your DM to allow you to use psionics and whatnot. And it's just that easy. It's $25, guys. It's $25, and that entitles you to any future updates or bug fixes. It's current. I think it's Bob. What was the version? Was it 1.5 S2? I think is the latest build. 1.5 R2 S2 T2, something like that. It's in the RST range. Let's say you wake up tomorrow and I'm babbling on about Crom 2.0, and this one washes dishes and sorts your lights and darks out of your laundry. You're like, oh, I already bought Crom. I guess I got to buy this new version. No. You get the updated version. See how I roll like that? 1.5 S2. Thank you. Yes. So when 1.5 T hits, if I see a need for T, there you go. Sort your day needs. That's right. $25, guys. $25. Bada bing, bada boom. Hello, TXG. Good to see you, my friend. Crom is the program that you need to manage your characters. Whether you're a DM, yes, Stephen. Sorry. Yeah. I should have locked everything but fighter, magic user, thief, and cleric behind a paywall, right? It's like, well, it's $49.95 flat for 1 year, but for $20, you can have druids. That's what I should have done. But there you go, guys. Crom is the bomb. Okay, look, you guys know my shtick. I self-deprecate a lot in my humor. I did a great damn job writing that Crom program. All right. It is the shiznit. Look, maybe you don't pay. Maybe you don't pay. Maybe you don't pay. Then you don't get it. That's how that works. Maybe you don't play first edition. The character generation parts still apply. You might have to do some tweaking on the text character sheet, but it'll still take care of you. You can still shop for equipment. That's right, Bob. Free lifetime updates. Yeah, I'm not okay. So that is Rob Turner brings up an interesting point about Crom. There is a dark side to Crom. During Crom's development, let me tell you what, I wrote 90% of Crom in a few months. The last 10% took me the same amount of time. That's the God's honest truth. I had it where I was like, yeah, I'd use this on my desktop, man. Yeah, but it's not quite ready for prime time. I still got to do a few things to make it ready for prime time. Those few things were like pulling teeth. It was insane. But after I got it to the point where I was ready to say it's coming, a lot of folks asked me, Unearthed Arcana, Oriental Adventures, Dragonlance Adventures, Forgotten Realms, Wilderness Survival Guide, Dungeoneer Survival Guide, Manual of the Plains, Greyhawk Adventures. What about this class from Dragon Magazine? Can I insert my own custom spells? Can I make my own custom class? And I kind of had to draw a line in the sand, guys. I had to say here and no further. And it's not because I don't care about you guys. It's because I care enough about you guys to get a product out there that you can use after teasing it. And the more features you introduce, trust me, I know, the more bugs you potentially introduce. So I pulled it down to the core. I pulled it down to the core. But I think you would love Crom if you don't already have it. Now, Crom runs on Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and 11, 32, and 64-bit, and it runs in Linux through Wine. I have somebody kind of distantly working on a Mac version. I have had some people ask about Mac versions. I would love to have a Mac version out there. I don't. You're right. Well, Bob Gnarly's running it on a Mac with Wine. There you go. So it does kind of run on a Macintosh. Well, excellent. Excellent. Runs on a Mac through Wine. Yes, it's available for the Macintosh. Ask the man who owns one. Getting strong Lexi from Jurassic Park vibes there, Bob. This is Unix. I know this. DOS version win. It looks like DOS, doesn't it? I tell you what, if I had started doing this 8-10 years ago in a different language, like maybe just Vanilla C or even Borland Turbo C, I could have written it for DOS. I could have written it 32-bit clean to run under VDM. It would have broken under 64-bit, I think. Believe it or not, I kind of thought about kickstarting Crom once upon a time and being like, okay, I'll do a DOS version. I'll do a DOS version and I'll include it on a couple of floppy disks. Because at the time it was like a couple of megabytes. The uncompiled source code for Crom clocks in at about 450 kilobytes. That's not bad. You can throw that on a floppy disk for an Amiga. Potentially you could, if you had a scripting tool that would run Python, you could run that, the code, just the bare code on an Amiga. Compiled? Oh, baby. Now, since you guys have got me prattling on about Crom. I will tell you a little bit. If I could go back in time and do it all over again, I would not have written it in Python. Python is an automated scripting tool. I chose arguably the worst possible language I could have written it in. I made a post over on X about this the other day. I said, guys, I need some thoughts and prayers. I've been subjected to some violent and hurtful language. That language is Python. But yeah, if I could go back in time, I would have done it in almost any practical language other than Python. And I know there's probably some people out there who love Python and like fiddling around in Python. And I don't mean to insult you there. You know, I mean, I'm not saying I would rather have written it in Forth. I wish I had written it in Algol 68 or IBM JCL or CA7 schedule. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying of the good choices, Python was probably the worst. Now, early on, when I started investigating, it was very simple. And it snowballed so fast. Instead of pumping the brakes and saying, I conceptually know how to do this, let's go over to another language, I just kept working at the Python because I've already put so much work into it. Let's put some more into it. It was basically sunk cost. Yeah, Python is easy but unclean. It's the adjustable wrench of languages. It kind of works. That is a beautiful analogy. It's the adjustable wrench of languages, right? Because you can get it there, and you can, you know, you can work at tightening or loosening, but then you've got an issue. Guys, I'm going to pause for just a second. I got to go help Mrs. the Dungeon Delver inside. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. And I'm back. I had to help Mrs. the Dungeon Delver in. She's got a stupidly heavy briefcase. And my old man glasses. I can't see you guys. Let's see. Yes, Crom chases fear away. Crom is perfectly cromulent. Now, I am working on a sequel to Crom. It is not an improvement on a Crom, but it will do for strict dungeon mastering what Crom does for character creation. Dungeon encounters, NPC generation, city encounters, monster encounters, monster treasure creation, map generation, magic item generation. It's going to do all of that, and I'm not writing it in Python. But it will compile. So that is, I'm not going to say when that's coming. I got to get my glasses. I'm sorry. Hang on a second again. Hang on. Can't see. All right, here we go. The Velma Dinkley. I'll be right. Given my coding ability, that is just correct. Look away to talk to the missus, and the chair mimic has eaten me. Well, I'm certainly not a doppelganger. Bill is, I am fine. Everything is fine as I wear my human skin and look at you with my organic eyeballs that are certainly functional. Lean in closer, please. But anyhow, so yes, there will be a DM's assistant that works like Chrome, that will handle all of your DMing needs. I'm probably going to write it in QB64, which will then transpile into C and then compile. So put sugar in water. But anyhow, I think that's enough sales pitching from me. What do you guys want to talk about? Ask me anything D&D related. Oh, no, I got to tell you guys about the week ahead. I'm sorry. I got to tell you about the week ahead. So tonight you get this. Today you get this. Tomorrow night we are going to play first edition AD&D. And what do I mean by we are going to play first edition AD&D? I mean, you might be sitting there if you're new to the show going, congratulations. That's how wonderful for you. What I mean by that is we are going to live stream first edition AD&D for you to watch. Now, again, maybe you're thinking big deal. So what? Watching people play D&D is about like watching paint dry. Here's the thing. Here's the difference. Here is the line that separates what I do from other live streaming shows. I want you to watch a live stream if of AD&D actual play that I do here on the show. If you have a question about characters, about rules, about the scenario, I want you to ask right in the live chat. You don't have to super chat. It's nice when people do that. I appreciate it. It really helps, particularly right now. Can't even go into that, but and can you buy my very funny. Because I want you guys to understand what we're doing. I don't want you to just sit and stare. Okay. Ask questions. If I don't catch your question, it's not because I'm ignoring you. Sometimes the chat gets going fast and furious. One of my players might, and if they don't, somebody in the audience might, and they might answer the question for you, because folks, I have not just the best looking, but the smartest audience of any 5-night-a-week live stream classic TTRPG show on YouTube. And I'll kill on that hill. I'm not dying on that hill. I'm killing on it and surviving. So please watch it. And let me tell you something. There are no scripts. We don't do table reads, rehearsals. We don't have story arcs outside of the adventure I have planned. And the party could say, you know what, we did this situation with the slavers is tough peanuts, but we're going elsewhere to seek adventure. Then they do. All right? Then they do. The dice decide what happens. The dice decide what happens. And we could get 5 minutes into the game tomorrow night, and it's a TPK. It's damn near happened. You guys remember Mark? Used to play with us. He was the only survivor one night. The entire party was killed by water spiders in the Greyhawk sewers. Mark was like, I'm out. Well, his character was. And then that character retired. We rolled up all new characters and started anew. So we roll the dice. You see our dice rolls. Dice roller working tonight? If that was a saving throw, that character would probably not have made the saving throw. If that was a saving throw, the character probably would have made their saving throw. I didn't control either one of those other than to click roll the dice. And that's how it rolls. So that's what we do. It's actual play, guys. So that's Tuesday. That's 2 hours of first edition AD&D on Tuesday. Wednesday of this week, we are going to unveil, well, I'm going to unveil to you, we are going to have an unveiling of the 2025 holiday giveaway item. I talked about it at the beginning of the show, how you qualify for it. Don't miss it. Now, I will tell you something else. On Wednesday, there will be there will be the live show, but at the same time, there will be a video going live, just a pre-recorded video, because I know, like, YouTube does not feature live streams. They don't. They feature content, which is why if you go to my channel, you might think the last video I did was in, well, no, because I did a short video when I had to replace my opening theme music. And it's not even a particularly good one. So, you'll get a video on Wednesday where I unveil the 2025 holiday giveaway item. And then after the holidays, I will probably take that video down. Won't really be relevant anymore. Unless it gets like 1.5 million views, and then I'll leave it up. Hey, St. Cuthbert, good to see you. I've thought about that, Bob. I may try that. I may start doing that to feed the algorithm. Just download, just go all the way back to the beginning, and just start re-uploading live streams like Classic Delver's Dungeon episode, blah blah blah. I might do that. That's actually a pretty good idea. So that's Wednesday. Wednesday is reveal. I will answer questions. We will talk about it. I can't guarantee it'll be a long video. But I will tell you, earlier in the afternoon on Wednesday, I will probably dip into Yang Yan Zhao's channel, Yang Yan Zhao 4. You guys know him. He plays Gamma World with us on Fridays. Yang is debuting. He is revealing his Kickstarter for Empire of the Undying Sun. It is a big, big, big dark fantasy TTRPG project he's got going on. I did not correct myself. It's both. So yeah, Yang will be doing that, having his rollout. I will probably hop on his live stream. And then I will come over here probably early, and then I'll go till 10. I'll probably start at like 7 and go till 10 over here. It depends on when Yang starts. Let me tell you that. But I'll go for a couple of hours here if there's interest. And when you see what I've got, there's going to be interest. So that's Wednesday. Thursday is kind of open. I got to talk to somebody about the possibility of something happening Thursday, but we'll see. We'll see. And then Friday, now normally this would be where I'd say, hey, Friday, Gamma World, but it's October now, or it will be October then. Every Friday in October, we've been doing this for 4 years now, counting this year. Every Friday in October, we will be live playing Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu. Friday, Halloween, horror, Shocktober live streams. Who will survive and what will be left of them? And guys, there's 5 Fridays in October. 5 Fridays in October. You're getting an extended mini campaign this year. I'm excited about it. I hope it is genuinely creepy. I hope I build up some existential dread in you guys. So don't miss out. Tune in for that. I'm excited about it this year, guys. We're going with last year we did, I think last year's modernish Call of Cthulhu was pretty well received. So we're going to be doing that this year. We're going to be doing a more modern Call of Cthulhu setting this year. So don't miss it. Tune in. And we will bring the horror. Ryan, maybe a little from column A, a little from column B. I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to tell until we get there. So I did have 2 survivors. Yeah. Let's see. So last year I had 2 survivors. The year before that, technically there were 3 survivors, but they were all lost in Carcosa. So they would have joined the King in Yellow's procession sooner or later. They're never coming home. The year before that was on Buyavea Island, I think was where I did that one, and that was another total party kill. So yeah, we've had some good fun. We've had some good fun, and this year I think we're going to do that too. Yes. Ryan, have you seen the yellow sign? Now, let me ask you guys something, just, because there's, There's 25 of you guys watching over on YouTube, and it says that 106 have at least cruised by on Twitter. But let me ask y'all something. Did you like the altered opening credits last year? If you remember those, I don't think I have them queued up, but they started. They started as like the introduction to a public broadcasting network of like rural Alabama in the 1970s. I had like a title card, and then I did like a lo-fi VHS noise and and things like that, and then kind of launched into my opening credits like you were watching it on videotape from back in the day, like 4:3, again with VHS noise. Okay, so Bob Gnarly liked it, and you can find those a little bit more, a little bit more like public, like a VHS, like a little bit more like public access TV level. I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, you know, we did some TV static, and then they got progressively worse as the weeks went on, and I kind of liked that, actually. I kind of liked doing that. It was sort of a fourth wall breaking thing. I may do something like that this year. I don't know yet. I don't know, but I just want to know what you guys thought of it, because not a complaint. Just it is what it is. I rarely get comments on the live videos that go into a lot of depth. Now, hey, the pre-recorded videos, you guys blow those comments up. I mean, particularly when I catch out some Wizards of the Coast malfeasance, you guys get in there and things get pretty hot. And I mean that in a good way. Thank you, Bob. But yeah, so sometimes it's a little hard to gauge. Like the live audience seems to like it, but I don't know what its lasting power is. So you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But anyway, so yeah, it will be a fun mini campaign. Like I said, it's geared once again a little bit more to modern. And one of the reasons that I went more modern this this past year is I picked 1970 for last year's Call of Cthulhu adventure to be set in. And the reason I did that is we are as far from 1970 today as the Call of Cthulhu RPG is from when H.P. Lovecraft wrote his cosmic horror stories. That is, the Call of Cthulhu RPG came out in 81. Lovecraft was working in the late 20s and early 30s. You picking up what I'm putting down? The 1970s are an old time. Now, Gonzalo's quoting the Scooby-Doo opening, but I'll tell you something. The Scooby-Doo cartoon, a buddy of mine once made an observation, and he was trying to impinge some feelings of dread and horror as we were playing Call of Cthulhu. And he said, because we were laughing and making jokes through the thing, not laughing at him. We were just kind of goofing and joshing and ribbing each other. And he made the observation, and I think this was correct, that Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Ruined any chance for Gen X to genuinely be creeped out by Call of Cthulhu. Because, you know, the terrible old man that lives in the mansion, it's just some guy running a real estate scam. He's trying to scare off prospective buyers. Oh, we know that. That's just old man Jenkins in a rubber mask. That's not a deep one. So just an interesting observation by my buddy there. So yes, Friday kicks off the Call of Cthulhu game. Jorge Uribe, good to see you. Do Scooby-Doo, but have the villains be real. All right, so I got kind of a funny story. I had never watched I had never watched The X-Files before I moved in with my girlfriend, who's now my wife, back in the 90s. And she said, "Hey, Orbital Air, good to see you." I guess the one with the android on the amusement park pier, technically a real monster. But so she was like, "I want to watch the X-Files." And I was like, "I've never sat down and watched the X-Files. I didn't really have." So she's like, "No, you got to check it out." So we sit down, and the first X-Files episode I ever saw was the comedy episode that had I can picture the actor in my mind. I'm going blank. His character's name was Jose Chung. Was it Jose Chung's From Outer Space? Was that the name of the episode? But it was a comedy episode, and yet it was still both a bottle episode, Monster of the Week, and a story arc episode. No, but the Peter Boyle episode was good, Bob Nurley. Yes, that's the one I'm talking about, David Mills. Yes, the William Gibson episodes of the X-Files were terrible. I was so disappointed. That's where the shine kind of started to come off for Gibson to me, when I realized the man could not work in other mediums than cyberpunk. And those were ostensibly cyberpunk episodes. But anyway, so I watched, and it was the funniest fucking thing I had ever seen. I just looked at her and I was like, "Are all the episodes of X-Files this funny? Because if so, I'm going to watch them every week." She's like, "No, they're not. They're not funny. They're not comedy." But I started watching, and I got hooked on the X-Files, and I watched it for what it was. But that was the first X-Files episode I ever saw, and I quite liked it. And that brings me to the quote unquote monsters on Scooby-Doo being real. My wife and my oldest daughter are big fans of Supernatural. And there's an episode of Supernatural where they took an original episode of Scooby-Doo and they brought Sam and Dean from the Supernatural TV show into that episode of Scooby-Doo. But the supernatural murderer of the week, the monster of the week, Charles Nelson Riley. Thank you, Bob Gnarly. The monster of the week for Supernatural also went into the TV. So Sam and Dean, Gen Xers, grew up watching Scooby-Doo. They were like, we cannot let Daphne, Fred, Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby get murdered by this guy. So they're doing stuff, and they animated them perfectly to fit 1969 Hanna-Barbera. And I like, that was just peak. That was peak. That was so good. It was such a loving tribute. Even though this guy is doing absolutely R-rated murders in the background, Sam and Dean are keeping the mystery gang from seeing any of that happening. So, yeah, that just a comment about monsters on Supernatural being real. That just brought that to mind. And I kind of compare it to that episode of the X-Files. The little tiny bit I've seen, I like. My daughter we went to a Comic-Con one year, and my daughter got her picture taken with I don't know which character. It wasn't Sam or Dean. I know it wasn't one of the main characters, but it was like one of the supporting characters. And my daughter and her friends were kind of over the moon. Weekend conventions, went to like 3 of them. Monster of the Week. So, and Bob, you mentioned that. I loved the plot arcs of the X-Files and the first season and a half of Millennium. I really liked the overarching plots, but everybody I knew who liked the X-Files was like, nah, man, I barely pay attention to those. I want to see the Monster of the Week. And there were great Monster of the Week episodes. The redneck vampires, where they go to the little trailer park town, and like, with the exception of the pizza delivery boy who almost screwed things up for them, all they want is to be left alone. So they're nomadic. I loved that episode. Good episode. Fun episode. Again, Jose Chung's From Outer Space. It blended Monster of the Week and conspiracy arc, and did it with comedy. So that was good. Or some other good Monster of the Week episodes of X-Files. Jeffrey Lewis was a news photographer who had avoided death's gaze back in the Spanish influenza. He was born in like 1870. And he had turned away from death. And so death took a nurse instead. And because of that, he was immortal. And the thing about it was, he didn't go like, oh my God. Oh yeah, Bob said the name of the episode that can never be shown again. Or they will never show again. Yeah, that's who the actor was. But yeah, so Jeffrey Lewis, like, he didn't move in secret like the Highlander or anything. He literally just lived his life. He just did his thing. And he stayed as a stringer for news services always taking pictures of homicides, deaths at car accident, whatever, because he was trying to catch up with death. And remember, he had this great discussion with Scully when she's like, why haven't you just tried to end yourself? And he was like, I have tried. I jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge. You know what happened? All I got was wet. And he just goes down the list of ways that he tried to do it, and it wasn't working. So that was a good Monster of the Week episode, because like a lot of Monster of the Week episodes, he was not a monster. And one monster that they had that like you really felt bad for, it was a later episode, but they showed the episode from the Monster of the Week's point of view. It was the kid who had to eat flesh to survive. We used to joke around and call him Shark Boy because he had like black eyes and jagged shark teeth that he kept under a prosthesis. Yeah, kind of, Ryan. But did he take any pictures of Spider-Man, threat or menace? You serious? But yeah, no, there were a lot of good bottle episodes / Monster of the Week. Again, the one with Peter Boyle, phenomenal. There was one where Burt Reynolds was God. That was interesting. The Genie episode was kind of heartbreaking and funny. The Christmas Ghost was also good. Those bad boy pins. I don't know. They don't print Weekly World News anymore, which sucks, because if you're a Call of Cthulhu game master, that thing was an invaluable resource. I need an adventure. Here we go. $2.50 for a Call of Cthulhu module. Can't beat that with a stick. You know what's funny about Weekly World News? I'll share this. I on a friend's advice, like, yeah, grab a copy of Weekly World News if you need adventure ideas for Call of Cthulhu. So I got one, and of course, I don't think it was Bat Boy on the cover. It's, you know, like Elvis lives in a UFO with JFK or something. The funny thing was, if you'd never read it, at least back in the 80s and 90s, and possibly up to the early 2000s, the bulk of the interior content was just kind of meh news, like just human interest stories. They got your attention with stuff like, you know, B-17 found on the moon, you know, missing crew living inside secret dome. But inside, like, there were filler articles that was just, no, you know, slightly like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I remember because there was one that was like, Genius Kid reads 17 books a month. I mean, when I was a little kid, I could plow through a bunch of books in a month. I like rattled off the stuff he liked to read, and a lot of it was fantasy, science fiction, Tolkien, you know, what have you. And I was like, that's entirely plausible. Yeah, stuff like that, Ryan. Stuff like that. But the majority of it was schlock, right? Well, yeah, they would just tuck the occasionally. Bat Boy's band is on the run, pursued by the FBI. Current Bat Boy head. I love it. I have already I have already locked in for this year's Call of Cthulhu, but next year I might do a Monster of the Week next year, maybe even with a rotating cast. Yeah, you knew what you were buying, Ryan. You knew what you were buying. But yeah, next year I may do a monster, just kind of a goofy Monster of the Week, just micro Call of Cthulhu adventures, stuff that I can blow through in 2 or 3 hours an episode. Thank you. And I should point something out about our merch and bring that up here again real quick. That is an even split between Tracy, Lesh, and I. So whatever you get, or whatever I get, Tracy gets half of it. So the artist is being supported. I knew that I couldn't ask him to just give me a piece of art that I could then make money off of. Because I'm here to tell you, boys and girls, I am broke most of the time. This is a state of being. So, you know, when I talked to Tracy about it, he was like, sure, let's do it. So that doesn't just support me, that supports Tracy Lesh. And this is supporting a classic TTRPG artist like Tracy. Tracy, I created the Mind Flayer Lesh. Tracy, I illustrated the first issue, or the first release of the Dungeon board game Lesh. Tracy, I did the artwork for It Came from the Late Late Show Lesh. Tracy, my art was featured in the first ever edition of Boot Hill Lesh. That Tracy Lesh. So that's probably a good call, Bob Gnarly. I mean, you know, stuff. First of all, it's a hoodie, right? That's supposed to hang baggy on you, right? You know, you put stuff in the pockets. It's for cold weather. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. John Strain, good to see you. You got here finally. Excellent. I can be compelled to go on for a little bit longer, y'all. I don't have to run away right now. Ask me D&D questions. If you got, I've talked about the Call of Cthulhu game. I've talked about Crom. We've talked about merch. We've talked about the holiday gift giveaway reveal that's happening on Wednesday. Ask me TTRPG stuff, guys. We've talked about the week coming up already. Any D&D specific questions you might have, I want you to feel comfortable asking me. Or if you're into that kind of thing, feel uncomfortable asking me. However you want to do it. Let's see. While you guys are coming up with good questions for me, I'm looking for something. This is a good question. Bill will never die because he'll always be a. Well, I mean, okay. Why do I think 5e, which you originally cited? So, yeah, Hasbro is the answer. Hasbro is the answer. Wand generation rules. I mean, rules. I don't know. Damien, I don't think there were ever any Wand generation rules created. I just think it's whatever spell you want to go in, whatever chart number of charges you want to go in. Rod, staff, wand, boom, do it. You're done. There are no rules for it. If a player character wants to make one, magic item creation rules. I was excited for 5e2. It became terrible because of feature creep. I think when Tasha's hit, when Tasha's Cauldron of bad ideas was released, that's when the wheels really flew off. It was a perfectly fine, lightweight D&D that was probably more like basic D&D. And by that I mean Red Box, what's his face, Frank Mincer, basic, than any other thing. And I think if they'd stuck with that, they would have been fine. But two things happened. 3 to 24 turns, great old ones. 3 to 24 turns. Emma saying I'm gonna tag that and I'm gonna come back to it. They leaned so heavily into the lifestyle branding of D&D that they abandoned gamers, and they made things so much ease. They lowered the bar of entry to the floor and basically opened it up to the lol D&D memes. Lol, I'm a dice goblin. Lol, my bard wants to screw everything crowd. And I hate to sound like I'm calling out people, but Hasbro catered to them. And then when those people caught the flavor of the week, we wound up with smiley Mexican orcs. Hasbro said, yeah, do more of that. Just do that. Just do that. And then memes blew up with Baldur's Gate 3. Lol, I'm going to Sexor the bear. And guys, that crowd is the crowd that will buy the most popular album, by the it band of the week. They'll play the grooves off of the one track. Once Upon a Time music came on records and it had little grooves in it, and the needle could wear those down. And they won't be able to tell you what the album before that is, or any of the other tracks on the album. And that's kind of the crowd that got a hold of D&D, both from a management standpoint and a play standpoint. Now, you can have somebody come in who loves the band for that one track, and then they start listening to more and more and more and more. I mean, my first experience with Led Zeppelin was probably Black Dog, and I thought that song kicked ass, or maybe it was Rock and Roll. I don't remember. It was one of those two tracks off of 4. But then I got a copy of 4 on tape, and guess what? I listened to it beginning to end. And then I got Physical Graffiti, aka the best Led Zeppelin album. That's terrible, Bob. Throw them into throw them into Lost Crypt if you want to hear them cry more. I'm tagging your I'm tagging your questions. So that's what I think happened to it. All right, Jeff from Denkar asks, best and worst parts of Unearthed Arcana. Best parts of Unearthed Arcana. XP and gold values for all the various magic items that came after the Dungeon Master's Guide. Cantrips are okay. Worst parts: barbarians, drow, cavaliers. Yeah, I think that's the best and worst right there. Let's see. You have an amateur radio license. How viable is it to run a game over the air? If you're listening, if your group is close enough to tune you in, it's fine. It's just like playing voice over Discord. It's fine. It's literally just another way to get your voice to your friends. I mean, if you're shortwave, you may have friends who can pick you up halfway around the globe. I think it will be easier over TCP/IP, I'm saying, but what does it mean that a sling bullet causes 2 to 5 damage to a smaller medium target? A smaller medium target, that's anything from like, little rat or mouse size target all the way up to like a 6 or 7 foot person. Anything bigger than that, you start getting into gnoll, bugbear, ogre territory. But 2 to 5 means 1d4 plus 1. Old game D&D rules. What happened to that item, Staffer of Wizardry? What do you mean what happened to it? No, I'm genuinely curious. I don't know what you mean. No. So let me tell you, I unfortunately don't have a Gamma World screen, St. Cuthbert. I do not. I have a PDF of it. So I wish I had a Gamma World screen. It's pretty keen, but I don't. Unearthed Arcana. A brief history, a very brief history. Because we could be here for hours more, and I have, other things to do tonight. Gary was in California. Gary was pushing D&D Entertainment. He was pushing the licensing to get it into toys, to get it into candy. Yes, there was D&D candy, clothes, hats. He was making D&D a lifestyle brand. He was also hard at work on the D&D cartoon. Come 1985, Gary finds out that his soon-to-be former friends, Brian and Kevin Bloom, well, Brian was his friend, Kevin was not, had steered the company wrong and were looking to sell it to a private equity firm on the street, as they say, particularly Wall Street. Gary dropped everything, shopping around a D&D movie, the D&D cartoon. That, by the way, is why the D&D cartoon is not in circulation, or syndication, rather. It's not in syndication. Syndication packages generally have to be at least a certain number of episodes, and the D&D cartoon didn't reach that. So Gary dropped what he was doing in California, dropped D&D Entertainment, flew back to Lake Geneva, started digging through the books. He found out that TSR, the company, had ballooned up to 300 employees, had 200 staff cars. Just in case you were curious, if you've never been there, Lake Geneva is a town of 5,000 people. And they have a company with 300 staff cars. There were people on the rolls at TSR who had never showed up for a day of work. All they did was stop by and pick up a paycheck. Friends of relatives of Brian and Kevin Bloom. The company had a pre-tax profit of $4 and was $16 million in debt. Gary fired most of those people, sold off most of the cars, found out they had a warehouse of systems furniture and computers, which in 1985, the computers alone were very expensive. got rid of that shit. He basically sacked the Blooms. He got control of the company back from the Blooms. He then spent 6 months crash writing Unearthed Arcana. And when they started teasing Unearthed Arcana, Gary knew he was on the right track because fan reception was huge. People wanted new D&D. It had been 5 years since a new AD&D rulebook had been released. And stuff in modules, things in deities and demigods, that didn't slake people's thirst. So Gary went through, he compiled a bunch of stuff and put together Unearthed Arcana and put it out. One of the things that the Blooms had let expire was their sweetheart deal with Random House Canada. There was one person at TSR whose sole job it was to mail just a piddling, insignificant check to Random House Canada. That was it. And the Blooms fired that person. So he had to beg Random House Canada to extend them a line of credit because they were sitting on books that they had printed for TSR. Dungeon Master's Guide, Player's Handbook, Fiend Folio, Deities and Demigods, Monster Manual, that they wouldn't release. He had to beg them for a line of credit. And the Blooms threw a fit over Unearthed Arcana, I should point out, because Gary wanted it printed to the same standard that those other books I just mentioned had been printed. And they're like, no, glue the bindings, it'll be cheaper. And it was so cheap, TSR lost money at Gen Con when it was released because everybody that bought a copy had to bring their copies back because their copies fell apart. Game stores had to send copies back because people were bringing their copies back because they were falling apart because the Blooms had cheaped out on the binding. So depending on when you got your copy of Unearthed Arcana, it may or may not be falling apart. So after Unearthed Arcana came out and all that nonsense went down, TSR went from $16 million in debt and a pre-tax profit of $4 to a post-tax profit of $23 million. Gary saved the company. A friend of his said, "This has really sucked the life out of you. Why don't you hire this person over here to run the day-to-day operations? You can stick to being creative." Gary listened. That person was Lorraine Williams, and Lorraine Williams was best friends with Brian and Kevin Bloom. She immediately put the screws to Gary and put the Blooms right back in charge of the company. Yeah, Unearthed Arcana stayed in print well into second edition. Unearthed Arcana and I think the Player's Handbook for 1E. So, yes, it was kind of a Gary money grab. It wasn't a money grab in the sense of, I'm going to get rich. It was a money grab in the sense of, if we don't infuse this company with cash right now, it dies. And Gary knew that. And in 6 insane months, he blew through writing, compiling, editing. With that said, I don't like it, and I don't like the rules in it. I think if Gary had had time to write another AD&D book, it would have been better. I would liken it to a money grab in the same sense that stopping your life savings from burning up in a fire by grabbing the sack out of the house when the roof has gone up in an inferno is a money grab. So that is the story of Unearthed Arcana. I almost wish I'd had Paul here. Paul Stormberg can tell that much better than I. We're gonna have Paul on probably if Paul's able to move, if Paul's able to speak right after Dragon Days in Lake Geneva. Take care, Bob. I'm probably going to dip out of here too, guys. It's 7:30. I got stuff to do before I go play AD&D tonight. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your questions. I think I got everybody. Jorge, John Strain, Emma Sang, Zach Melvin, thank you for becoming a member. Paladin Steve, thank you for the super. I appreciate that. We will be back tomorrow night. We will be playing first edition AD&D. Please tune in for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Wednesday night, don't miss Wednesday night. Wednesday night is a very important night for you. If you're a member, if you're thinking of becoming a member, if you're thinking of becoming a channel supporter on Patreon, Wednesday night is going to be a super important night. Or if you've been sitting on it and you haven't decided yet, when you see what's coming out Wednesday night, you will decide. You will right then, you will go, yeah, give me. I haven't looked close enough at St. Cuthbert at second edition to give you an answer. Probably Greyhawk Adventures, because it was written by Jim Ward and Rob Kuntz, who were actually part of the original Greyhawk group. So that is what I will say about that. I will be back tomorrow night at 9 to play some AD&D, guys. Don't miss. Tune in. It will be fun. I love you all. And regardless of what edition you play, remember, smile. Owl bears loathe you. Peace.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.